Hey guys, I'm gonna do that quick tutorial on how to seal this dirty pour with, I'm using epoxy. Move this to the side. Okay, I'm gonna seal it with epoxy, although you can seal it with clear gloss spray paint or clear matte spray paint. That seals it nice and good, and seeing that it's a base and it's not going to be something that's, used a lot. You know what I mean, put in, washed. All right, so first thing I do is I have a little turner that I use, okay? And I'm going to get me my little thingies, put it on here. Let's see. Okay, I have these little things that I put on my turners, and this is how I do them, because I do tumblers, so I'm going to just put this down in there. Okay, got that in there. Okay, and then I attach it to my machine, and I'm going to move this back here so it'll kind of go here. There we go. Okay. All right. So what I am going to do is I'm going to mix me up some of my epoxy. Okay? I use this KS resin, and it is equal parts. So I just use these big cups, and I just do a whole pump. Except if I'm doing something like really little, then I just use little cups. There's that one. And then here's the other part, because there's A and B. Okay? Do the same thing with this one. One is thicker than the other. One takes longer to come out than the other. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it up. It does work better if it's warmer, if the epoxy's warmer. So like sometimes I'll just put it in front of the little heater I have before I mix the two parts together. Do each individual one. It warms it up. But I'm just going to, and what you're going to do is you want to mix up your epoxy until it's clear, because right now it's kind of cloudy, and you want to mix it up until it's clear. Usually the faster you whip it up, the more bubbles you're going to get, and you don't want to have little air bubbles. Some you can pop with your heat gun, or I use one of these. All right. I'm actually going to try to warm it up just a little bit. I'm actually going to add to my epoxy a little bit of this Touch of Gold cheek glitter. Put it in my epoxy and to give it just a little bit of sparkle. I'm only going to use like a little. Okay. Alright. You want to make sure you cover it really well. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to put too much epoxy. But you want to do it nice and make sure it's nice and coated. Make sure I get all the way around this little dip in here. It's actually doing really good. I just make sure it's all coated really well. It has a little bit of sparkle to it. Okay, and now this I will let spin for about If I don't have the room really hot, which when I'm spinning like a tumbler or a vase, when I'm using epoxy, I usually, you know, just have like a small mini little heater. You know, try to make it a little warm. You don't want it blowing directly on it. I don't blow it directly on it, but I do make it where there's a little bit of heat, and I let that spin for about, depending on how much heat you have in here, it can spin for about, I don't know, 4 hours. I say 4 hours and then I turn it off, but you want to give it at least, I usually do about six hours before I can touch it. Now what I do is, if you see any, I go over once with this little yadgy, and to get out any little air bubbles you see. So I don't go directly on it, I just do it a little bit. You gotta go fast, okay? Kind of pops any little air bubbles that might have been on here. You don't want to do it too much because you don't want to make your epoxy too hot, okay? And that is how I do the epoxy coating. I'll show you what it looks like. The lighting is it's really a different color than that, but the lighting it's kind of like the best lighting I could get right now. But if you can see, I put some sparkle in it. But that is how I seal it with epoxy. Just ask any questions you want, guys. I can answer them for you. Thanks.